this is a Minecraft Ender Dragon, and this is a Lego Ender Dragon. Now, you may notice a few differences between those two. You know, maybe the legs are too skinny, or the head and the ears are not the right color. But mostly, I would say, is the fact that this one cannot fly. So, I want to fix that today. Or at least try to simulate that. And the first thing we need to do in order to achieve that goal is to, well, get rid of these super stiff wings. And now, his wings can flap freely, which allows for us to make any mechanism that can move this freely up and down. So, my plan for this is basically gonna be, obviously gonna flap its wings, but I also wanted to have an interaction with a player or a minifigure, right? So I wanted to kind of like dive down and kind of like attack the minifigure essentially. The minifigure will have to like move away to dodge that attack, and then it'll repeat over and over again while it actually flies and flaps its wings. So it all starts with this. Since there are two wings, need them to spin in the same ratio and the same position at all times. So we have this where when we turn this gear, it translates to these two gears, which simultaneously rotate these two gears independently and rotates these two main gears, which will control the direction of the wings. So let's put this into a larger base where we can actually build up a stand for this dragon. Basically, we just have this rotating motion, and when we spin it, it goes up and down. And when we combine it with one of these like spinning pieces, we'll see this. So when this piece goes up, the wing goes up, and then this pole bends with it, and then it goes down, goes up again. So we got the wings working, and they go pretty smoothly. But this dragon is still extremely static, so let's go on to the next step, which is to allow it to actually dive. So in order for this to work, we first need to have an anchor. So at the back, this basic pole will stay in place and it can rotate up and down. And then we'll have a second pole. We'll design one, and then which will move up and down, which will allow for the dragon to lift up and down. So I connected the gears that control the wings to a gearbox that controls this simple mechanism, and it rotates. And basically, when it rotates up, it's gonna prop the dragon up, and we'll see in a minute when we actually put the dragon on. And when it goes down, the dragon will go down. This rotating mechanism is what controls the height of the dragon. So there's 3 cycles, so it goes up for 2 rotations and goes down for 1 rotation. And yeah. And now the dragon is complete. But there's still a whole part missing essentially, because the dragon has to attack someone, right? Or else it'll just be diving down for no reason. So let's build a minifigure that will essentially be attacking the Ender Dragon. So in order to move a minifigure back and forth, we're going to use this mechanism, which is a linear actuator. So when we spin this gear, it transforms it into linear motion, so this pin can move forward and backwards. So now this component is attached to the actual mechanism through this gear. When we turn it, it can move forward and backwards, just like so. Something important to note also is that since there's 3 rotations, basically, the dragon goes up for 2 rotations and goes down for 1 rotation. This linear actuator will go, essentially, we'll see, it goes forward for 2 rotations, so it stays forward for the second, and then it goes back or the third rotation when the dragon comes down, so that the minifigure can kind of like dodge the attack. Okay, so now this minifigure is fully implemented. So let's see how it exactly works. So essentially, when the dragon dives down, this minifigure moves back, and when the dragon goes up, minifigure moves forward to quote-unquote attack him, right? And then now when the dragon goes down, he moves back, and he moves forward and moves back again to dodge that attack. And since this build is basically finished on the mechanical side, I still kind of think that we should have, a kind of terrain to cover up this ugly Technic pieces. So now that we have some terrain, let's test the final product.